All right, teams, line up for gear checks. All teams to the line up for gear checks. Princess has spoken. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game 2 of the Bonneville Beatdown. We're going to have the Renegade Junior Roller Derby Outlaws going up against Coyote Country Roller Derby Wheat Whackers. So, folks, this is a Junior Roller Derby tournament, so we'll just go over a couple of rules. First off, remember this is a Junior Roller Derby tournament, so don't cheer negatively. If you're over there yelling, kill, 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 and you're sitting next to me and that's my kid you're instructing your kid to kill, I get offended and you look like a jerk. So don't do that. Just cheer positively and cheer positive for roller derby and good roller derby no matter what the score is. No booing the referees, no booing the calls. Just keep it to yourself. I understand your emotions get the best of you sometimes, but keep yourself in check. And remember, you're ultimately setting the example for your children. So when you see them doing bad things, remember, you did them first. Second rule of Junior Roller Derby is there is no swearing whatsoever. You can be ejected and expelled from the building if you're caught swearing at the skaters, swearing at their officials, or anything like that. Derogatory language can get you kicked out of the weekend, and that's a lousy thing to spend this weekend in Salt Lake with nothing to do. Next rule is the red line. There is a red line that goes all the way around the track. It is your job to do everything you can to stay on that side of the red line. We will do our job to stay on this side of the red line. If in event we go down in a big crashing fiery heap, do not leave your seat and do not enter onto the track for any reason whatsoever. There are 30 people out there moving at 30 miles an hour who are used to hitting things. You are not used to getting hit, so you are going to be in trouble. If you have a child out there and they are attended to by the medics, we do have 2 very competent medics there today. They will take them over to the medics box. They will tend to their injuries. When they put their hand up, it is time for you to engage and find out what's going on. Okay, Coyote Country it is. I heard a few weed whackers in there. All right, this is going to be a tough game for me to call. I did go to Wazoo, so I am a little partial to the wheat whackers at this point. But we play the Renegades a couple times a year, and they're only a few hours away, and are our frenemies from the north. So we're just going to hope for good, clean roller derby. Well, let's meet the teams.
All right, in white, your Renegades, we have number 10, Crazy A, number 11, Blueberry Slam Cakes, at number 13, Slave Voorhees, number 17, Guinea Pig, 19, Stitches, number 2, Cairo, number 24, Quad Freya, number 47, Acid Smasha, 51, Big Wave, 58, Yoda, 64, Black Widow, 68, Foxtail, 700, Siren, at 77, Tsunami Hazard, and number 97, Faz.
All right, and taking them on today will be in the team in blue. This will be your Wheat Whackers. They're being coached by Active, Cervixin, Glitter Pop, and Dad Joke. The skaters for the Wheat Whackers are 100 Glitter Hitter, 101 Poison Ivy, number 13 Phantom, number 17 Ultraviolet. We'll get that right. Number 18 Glitz, number 2 Night Terror, number 204 Sparkhill, number 3 Sugar Rush, 33 Jawbreaker, number 6 Punky Bruiser, number 757 She Be Sassy, 84 Puppet Master, and bringing up the rear is number 88 Bubble Basher. Those are your Wheat Whackers in blue.
All right, beginning we have Faz for the Renegades in white going up against Glitz for the Wheat Whackers in blue. A lot of quick shoving and pushing as we start on this first jam of our second game of the weekend. And Faz gets that lead jam, but right behind is number 18, Glitz.
Both skaters take an apex jump. We'll see how it plays. Oh, they're going to give 0 to white and 1 to blue. I thought white would have got at least a point or two, but no points.
Yes, quick, fast, hard-hitting derby action in just the first 40 seconds, so this should be good. All right, number 757 in blue, that is She'll Be Sassy, going up against number 77, Tsunami Hazard.
So they bump shoulders and then go the opposite directions. Blueberries.
Yes,
That it looks like blueberry smack cake up there.
it's number 77 in white, so that'd be Tsunami Hazard.
Okay,
so
you're right.
Just,
There you go. We got it right
there
now.
it is, yep.
So Tsunami has it out there first.
We have a power jam as the Wheat Whackers jammer goes to the box.
Maybe a little too sassy on that first run.
All right. Quick points being brought up, and that is called off to get advantage of a power start for the Renegades.
All right, your referees for tonight for this game are Prince Albert, Peter, Mishconduct, Gypsy Wiper Out, Backslash, Doppelganger, Flyboy, Demon Mistress, D-Rex, Thorn, Punky Bruiser, Guinness, Capri Sun, Kiss Off, Rompapolly, D-Rex, Buckanobby, Phoenix, and Bionic Enemy. And of course, it's Merciful Skate and myself, Salty Bear, up here calling the X's and O's.
All right, it is Stitches with the star to take advantage of a few seconds of a power start and is able to get lead.
Wow, CB Sassy came flying out of that box, throwing shoulders, making a lot of contact, trying to get through there. And with a little bump, CB Sassy gets sent out by number 10.
That's Crazy A with a nice hit to bring make sure Sassy doesn't get past there.
And it was just a little chip block, but it was enough to get him off angle and get him out of bounds.
Yeah, when you're on wheels, that can definitely be a big equalizer. All right, well, now they are through put the Jam Star back on their helmet so they can score some points, but it is called off. So right now we just have an 8-1 game, so very tight score.
Yeah, we're 3 jams in and only 9 points total.
All right, so we're going to have Glitter Hitter in blue going up against number 97 in white. That is Faz once again, right back out there.
And the whistle blows and they both go to the inside. Glitter Hitter trying the outside now. Faz gets through on the inside. Faz is through first.
A big wave closing off that outside for Glitter Hitter.
Yeah, Big Wave and Cairo have their skates under them. You're not going to hit them and move them. They're too big of a body. You got to get around them.
Yeah, collision around 2 brings Glitter Hitter down, but they are able to get back up to their feet and are out of the pack. Faz running into a tripod. And calls that one off as they are brought back out. See if they kept the Wheat Whackers off the board. And it looks like they did. So that is 3 more points for the Renegades, or on that last pass to bring it up to 15-1.
And it looks like we have a power start coming out as
Oh, must have been Glitter Hitter must have been call right at the end there.
yeah, that's Tsunami Hazard out there. Whistle blows and their old team's backed off to one side. They're waiting to see what they want her to do. Tsunami says, I'm going to go forward and push, and they do exactly that.
Yeah, having 2 jammers right now, just rotating between the 2, that's got to be pretty tough, but they look like they're up for the task, so.
We'll see in the second half how that works, unless
Yeah.
they got 2 more jammers coming out in the second half.
Yeah, I know 3 jammer rotation can get pretty exhausting sometimes, so. You know, in these first 4 jams, the Renegades only showing 2 jammers out there. Glitter Hitter back out, shoving and pushing their way through, trying to find a way in.
Nice dip out there by Tsunami.
Multiplayer call on number 47 of the Renegades. So one of the runner of the Renegade blockers are back to the box. They are, as Tsunami gets the call to call that one off. And now it is Stitches for the Renegades. So I guess they are running a 3 jammer rotation. Just these jams have been really fast here. So
I think in
Yeah.
junior roller derby, usually in their early bouts, you see a lot of jammer rotation until they're getting their jammer set, because you just never know who's going to have the stuff that day.
oh yeah.
So here we go. Looks like Glitz is out first. Stitches is still stuck in the wash. Glitz is coming around fast and furious, digging hard. Stitch gets out now, but Stitches is about a half a track behind. Glitz is getting through. They're getting shouts from their coach. Cairo cycles him back. And she had to leap up to high five Cairo. That's a big man out there. But I think Cairo's got to be one of the nicest guys in Derby. He's out there big, and if he wanted to be mean, it would be a long day for you. But he is a nice guy.
All right, so now it is Faz going up against Sassy. Blue chooses to go right up by the jam line to try to halt Faz's momentum, but some quick moves.
Faz took a pop into the face and just shook it off and kept moving forward.
They have that lead position as Big Wave goes to the penalty box. Sassy now through. It's number 47 of the Renegades, Acid Smash, really putting on some good shots to create some offense there. All right, Glitter Hitter in blue up against Tsunami Hazard in white. All right, there's the call. Tsunami tries to go to the outside while Glitter swings to the end. Gets their hips right by Acid Smasher to get that lead position. Great skating by Sassy on that. Or Glitter Hitter, rather. I'm sorry. Glitter Hitter with the lead. Tsunami really being held back by the Wheat Whackers. Really good defense for the blue team on this particular jam. But Acid Smasher brings back Glitter Hitter. And now Tsunami is through. Glitter, nice moves, just getting their hips right by. Oh, there seems to have been a penalty on that, so they did not get by. There is, in fact, the blue jammer will go to the box. They will lose lead. This will go the full 2 minutes. So good chance for Tsunami to get some points on the board for the Outlaws. Get their lead up by a little bit more. There's been no big blowout jams this game at all, but the Renegades just chipping away at that score and just getting a few points ahead each and every jam. Now Acid Smasher going to the penalty box. Tsunami is through for 4. That takes some time to regroup, but that regrouping did them well, and they were able to get through. 15 seconds left in this jam. Slams right into a blue tripod as Glitter is now back out on the track. Trying to make some headway. It is taken out. Looks like there might have been an out of play hit called against. Looks like the pivot of the Renegades. They will start this jam in the box.
Looks like the Renegades have got 2 blockers in the box. And the Wheat Whackers are going to call a timeout, it looks like. They're just waiting for some time to tick off. They want to give their team time to settle down, collect themselves, things like that.
So 9 jams in just over 10 minutes. So this has been a very fast-paced game.
Yeah, junior roller derby happens at a different speed than adult roller derby. Adult roller derby has bigger hits sometimes, but juniors have a lot more speed and endurance incorporated into it. So I'd like to give a shout out to our sponsors for this weekend's events: Canyon Sports Therapy, Pie Pizzeria, Einstein Bagels, and 187 Killer Pads. All of them have donated to us. Big thank you to all our volunteers out here. You'd be surprised how many volunteers out here don't have a kid out here, and they're just doing it for the sport of roller derby and to promote it. Sitting next to Skates here, he doesn't have a kid out there, but he's certainly going to give his entire weekend out here with me, so I appreciate that.
Oh yeah, junior games are always really fun to call, especially these tournaments. You get to watch each team, how they progress throughout the weekend, and like from game 1 to the last game, there's always just high energy going around the entire time.
All right, it's Glitz up against Stitches here. We've seen this movie before. They're going to battle through there. All the teams are getting whole. It looks like Glitz is through first. Not to be denied is Stitches. Stitches is right behind Glitz. Only 20 feet separate the 2 jammers.
All right, getting some signals for their coach. They slam in for some points and call that off. So great communication between coach and jammer for the Wheat Whackers there. Oh, and there will be a power start. I did not see what penalty was called against the Renegade Jammer, but they will be starting in the box.
All right, that's going to bring out 757. She's so sassy out there directing her team which way they want them to go, and there you go. She opens a hole around Big Wave. Slices through that Big Wave like a longboarder should. Now Renegade's getting some help back. Immediately that blocker stops to put a hit on Sassy. Sassy shakes it off. 1 foot skating, keeps going forward.
Had some players falling all over each other there. Zilliant, though, they just got right back up, so it's like no one was taken down for too long at all.
Looks like Big Wave and Sparkhill out there jousting with each other.
Yeah, Sassy, quick points on the board, calls it off. Last 2 jams here definitely been going the Wheat Whackers' way and reflects in the scores that definitely gotten tightened up here in just a very short amount of time.
Yeah, no score is safe in junior roller derby. You've seen it. These kids can crank out a 24-point run with nothing flat. All right, Tsunami heading out against Glitter Hitter. They both separate. Tsunami getting cycled back by number 2. Glitter Hitter trying to push the pack forward. They start getting some separation as we have players heading to the box. Tsunami gets shoved out by number 2 again.
As a night tear in the pivot stripe for the Wheat Whackers. Yeah, they've been having some pretty good, solid blocks and offense out there.
Yeah. Night Terror putting a shoulder on them, and now they have to realize they have to scoot forward because you're only allowed to skate back 20 feet.
All right, Glitter Hitter now running around. Tsunami Hazard, once they're through, they get in a lot of speed. So Wheat Whackers have their work cutting out for them by keeping Tsunami being held back here. So far in this jam, doing a pretty good job of it, though, as Glitter Hitter comes around for another scoring pass. Oh, it looks like Glitter Hitter was attempting to call it off, and now the refs see it and call that off. There'll be a team timeout by the Renegades. May have been a star pass late in that jam right at the end there, but that was called off as the Renegades, again, taking some time to regroup here. So now we're at an 11th-point game, not quite at the halfway point of our first half.
Yeah, the Wheat Whackers seem to have found their skates under them. They're pulling it together now, and they're climbing back in this. Every point's going to count. They are sporting a blue and gold. I would have thought they were from, like, Michigan or something. Is that
Yeah,
blue and gold country?
very Wolverine-ish color scheme.
I do like saying that I am a Cougar because I did go to Wazoo, which is the college down there, but then people look at me and I say, I'm a Crimson Cougar, not one of those blue Cougars.
Right, yeah. All right. Timeout ends. Teams get their people back out there. Number 18, Glitz in blue with the star up against Faz in white, number 97. It's a little bit of a blocker disadvantage for the Renegades here. Just got a pivot and one blocker out there. See if the Wheat Whackers can take advantage of that, but that is Cairo holding back. Oh, and a good, strong hit. That was number 13, getting some assistance by Cairo to take out Blitz there.
Yeah, that was an impressive blocking because Cairo, you thought, oh, that's where the big block is going to come from. And no, it didn't. It came from 13. It came flying over there.
Yeah, Slave Voorhees, the big save. And yeah, Faz has that lead position now. All right, the inside lanes closed off to Faz as the Wheat Whackers doing a good job regrouping their defense here to try to keep them back, but they are able to squeak through for 4 before calling that off. So Renegade trying to get some momentum back on their side after the Wheat Whackers had a couple good jams go in their favor.
I do like the Wheat Whackers logo, though. The skull with the size under it.
It is. I gotta, if they've got a merch stand here, I'm gonna have to take a good look at that.
I don't know, Wheat Whackers, did you bring merch with you for us to buy? I don't see any head shaking out there, so we'll see.
All right.
So here we go. She'll be Sassy going up against Stitches. Packs separate a little bit. She Be Sassy looks like the advantage and does. She Be Sassy gets out first.
Yeah, we're able to get by Big Wave as Big Wave also goes to the penalty box as well. So, yeah, gets that lead position and puts one of the Renegade blockers down. And a quick 4 points for the Wheat Whackers. Nice run by Sassy. It's like another, this will be an official review being called by the Renegades now.
Yeah, they clearly saw something they didn't agree with. They're going to walk out there, explain themselves, and we'll see what Guinness has to say about this. I guess it's Princess who's in charge this time around. So if you like what you see here, folks, the adults are starting up this Monday on a crash course information. If you want to come out here and sacrifice your body to Derby, If you don't want to play derby, but you just want to learn how to skate, you can come out and do Crash Course 2, and they'll teach you how to be a referee, as we do always need referees. As I say multiple times, a lot of these referees don't have a kid out here. They're just out here promoting the sport, making sure it all stays clean. And I always appreciate that because they're giving their time and they don't have anything invested. I don't know that I would be out here without my kid being out here. So also Wasatch Juniors any Sunday except for this Sunday at 10 a.m. If you show up here at the Derby Depot, we can get you geared up and get you signed up and let you start skating. You don't need any gear to start off with. We have everything you'll need. All right, it looks like we came out of that official review. White called for an official review. They did not get it, so they will lose their official review for the remainder of this half. They will get one back for the second half, though.
All right, Blueberry Slam Cakes for the first time in white with the Jam Star going up against Glitter Hitter, who we've seen with some very good runs. A little bit of delay as the jam clock started, but now both teams are back into it. And Glitter Hitter with the lead.
Still stuck in there is Blueberry Slam Cakes. Glitter Hitter coming around.
All right, getting some good offense by Big Wave, but no, taken down back, and that is a 204 Sparkill of the Weed Whackers that time with the pivot stripe, taking back Blueberry Slam Cakes. And so now they're back to pushing and shoving their way for position around turn number 2. Blueberry making their way slowly but surely, but no, brought back and is going around again. Oh, no, there's a star pass, rather. That is a Siren now with the star in hand for the Renegades as Glitter Hitter gets 4 points on the board. Renegades falling back, ready to stop Glitter Hitter's momentum. Looks like there is a call. Oh, and there is a direction call on the jammer. You don't see that too often, but it can happen. And now we have a power jam opportunity for the Renegades. See if they can opting to stay back and let Siren try to push their way through. But now comes some offense in there to help Siren out.
Big Wave trying to get his team to fall back to him, and they won't do it. They can control the pack, but they don't do it, so he's got to skate up there and provide some offense.
Yeah. Well, I think if they fell back, they would have gotten a destruction of pack call, so at that point you just kind of have to get back up and see if you can do some offense. So good on Siren, a whole lot of hits, a lot of good blocking, able to stay on their feet. Yeah, it can be hard when you get that star pass and then you got a big wall to try to contend against.
All right, and we have a power start here is number 19. Stitches comes out for the Renegades, and they're going to have a few seconds of work on their own.
Glitter Hitter is back out. Nice quick burst of speed. Takes that lead. Comes out of the penalty box to take lead. Great job by Glitter Hitter. But now Stitches is around themselves. Let's see if Glitter decides to get some points and call or run it through. Decides to call it off. They did get 1 point on that one, so we are at a 9-point game. Wheat Whackers just chipping away at that early lead that the Renegades took.
Over halfway through the first half, starting to wear and tear a little bit. The altitude starts to set in a little bit. So here we go. It's
Faz versus Glitz. Glitz in blue, Faz in white.
a lot of Z's out there.
Yeah. Oh, big pile up right at the jam line.
Boy, the Renegades went to move the pack sideways and accidentally caught their own jammer in that sideways pileup. It was a good move by 91, but then caught all of their players too.
Low block called on the Wheat Whacker pivot. As finding their way around, and that will force Glitz to call that off before they can do a scoring run. But 4 more points, so now we're at just a 5-point game. So we're winding down to the last 10 minutes of our first half. Big Wave with the star for the first time for the Renegades, going up against Sassy.
When it looks like both teams have 2 blockers in the box, so you're going to have to try to stop Big Wave with just 2 blockers. Good luck.
Well, it looks like Night Terror's out there, and they've been having a strong game, so this will be a good face-off, I think.
Night Terror has been a strong blocker, and there we go, just like that. She'll be Sassy, gets out first, and like you called, Night Terror sends Big Wave flying.
All right, Sassy, taken out by Tsunami. Right, or Tsunami, make sure I get that correct.
It's a Nani, not a Nami.
Oh, nice footwork on the inside, but not able to stay in was She'll Be Sassy, and now Big Wave finds their way through that pack. Sassy runs through. They have lead. They have control of this jam, and they are opting to continue to run, but no, called that off. I don't know. Let's see if Big Wave scored any points. Did score 1 point before Sassy called that off, but is going to the penalty box. So this will be a big power start for the Wheat Whackers. A good chance, perhaps, to take lead in this game.
And that is Glitter Hitter out there, the captain for the Wheat Whackers. Whistle blows and they go. They've got 2 blockers in the box. I'm not sure what they're holding back for. They got to put everybody on offense here.
I think maybe they're opting to hold back and try to stretch out that line and let Glitter Hitter try to maybe push their way through to separate the pack some. But outside we have the Renegades definitely doing a great penalty kill in this one by keeping Glitter Hitter back.
Yeah, Renegades have the number. They control the pack.
All right, Big Wave right back out and right on through and takes the lead.
No lead was established. That gives Big Wave the opportunity, even though he started in the box. There was no lead established. So Big Wave is your lead jammer. Oh, using his friends to block for him. That was impressive.
Yeah, Crazy A sacrificing their body to get a few more points on the board, and that keeps the Renegades in the lead, though. So, yeah, sometimes it's worth it. Like, yeah, you can shove and push your own players as much as you want, however you want.
Just can't touch the other player. So here we go. It's number 97, Faz, going up against number
Glitz.
18 is Glitz.
Yep.
Whistle blows, and they both go to the middle. Now Faz tries the inside. Glitz pushes it forward, bouncing off bodies, staying in the middle of the track, still on the track.
One more to beat, and they find it. Glitz with lead. Faz right behind. All right, trying to get some quick points on the board. Nice move to stay in and get that 4th point.
Talk about absorbing the hit and still getting around it. They completely formed around that hit and then skirted forward to get the point.
All right, 2-point game. Wheat Whackers looking to take lead before the half. Renegades trying to keep it away. Stitches out there in white against Sassy in blue.
6.5 minutes left in this half.
All right, Stitches slams into the tripod to try to find a way around and is being held back and taken down. And that will give lead to the Whackers. Big opportunity for the Wheat Whackers. Oh, a nice hit by Sassy. Opened up that lane, took out that one blocker in their way. And now going up against the Acid Smasher, putting a shoulder in, getting through, and 4 more points, and that is the lead change. All right, so now the Renegade Jammer back out. Yeah, excellent run for the Wheat Whackers here to get that lead position. So now the Renegades are going to be fighting back. All right, and Stitches one more to beat, and does.
Yeah, the Outlaws lost the lead in that one. That was a score change there, as the Wheat Whackers came out with a 16-point run on that one.
All right, Tsunami versus Glitter Hitter. Looking to keep their lead. The Wheat Whackers, and fighting to get it back now is the Renegades.
Cairo lined up on the inside. You could tell he's going to move Midnight Terror, and that's exactly who he had his eyes on, is Midnight Terror. And a big hit out of bounds. Cairo perfectly legal. Sends Glitter Hitter flying.
All right, now Tsunami in their first scoring run.
And Glitter Hitter returns the favor and hits Cairo hard.
Now, when Tsunami gets some room and speed, they are hard to stop. Slams right into the tripod at turn number 2 and around again. So it's 4 more points. That doesn't give them the lead change quite yet, but cuts it in half from where it was at the beginning of this jam. Tsunami with that momentum still going strong. Looking for their coach, decides not to call it off and try to get a few more points out of this. However, 2 big blockers of the Renegades will now be in the box. But Tsunami, 4 more points. Huge run. 16 points for Tsunami. They take over the lead once again as Glitter Hitter now goes to the box. Big opportunity for the Renegades.
Well, I'll tell you, and the Renegades got their 2 biggest blockers in the box right now. But everybody out there doing what they can. That is Foxtail and Acid Smasher doing what they can.
Yeah, Acid Smash has had a lot of good blocks and off, but they did get called on a penalty on that one.
Directional.
Yeah. Nice run by Tsunami, has her 24 points, and that brings the Renegades right back up with 3 minutes left.
Well, I guess when you're known as the Outlaws, you go to the penalty box a lot.
That is true. However, you don't want to make that cost you the game, though, either, so you got to restrain yourself a little bit there.
100%. I don't think this is a team timeout. I think this is an official timeout.
Yes.
Okay. Making sure, once again, they're getting all the scores caught up, and they're right. Very important to Junior Roller Derby.
All right, Renegades got their blockers out. They'll be starting with 3 in this jam.
Looks like we might have had a little water on the track there, so we're getting Vector out there to clean that up right there in the penalty box.
Yeah, well, if any of our local parents have some children that are watching this right now that are not currently in roller derby, you get a chance to join the Wasatch Junior Rollers. Kids ages 6 to 17 can join and practice on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Tomorrow, next Sunday, excluded from that. You can find out more information at wasatchjuniorrollers.org or on Facebook or Instagram, or contact the team at wasatchjuniorrollers at gmail.com.
You know the words, you know the dance moves. Get out of your seats and stand up and move. And Skates, this is why I'm an announcer. If I spill my water up here, it doesn't stop derby play.
Unless you spilled it on the switchboard, maybe, but, you know.
Might be a medical emergency.
Yeah, just 3 minutes left in this half, and then we'll have a 15-minute intermission. They're all game start times are subject to change, dependent on what happens in the game before then. If it goes long, teams taking the track next will need some time to warm up and such, but all right, the rolling whistle means that we are ready to get back into the game.
And getting everything cleaned up there, always important because a wet track is a bad track.
Faz and Glitz back out again. Those two have been going head to head for a good part of this this first half of the game here. Oh, Glitz sees an opening on the inside, takes it with a take that quickly. Faz, though, the burst of speed of their own. Glitz getting some advice from their... Oh, and a nice quick move. Gets 4 points. Freezes the Renegades. Is that another lead change? I believe it might be. No, that'll bring it to 70 to 73.
Yep, that means the
Yep.
Renegades have pulled back in the front. This is a seesaw battle, anybody's game.
Renegades down a little two blocker disadvantage. Sassy taking advantage of that to take that lead position again. Another big opportunity before this half ends for the Wheat Whackers to take over that lead position or
That,
take over.
that was real nice toe work by Sassy as they slipped through there because each one of the Renegades hit them as they went through, and they were able to tiptoe right along the line.
Okay, power started, it appears.
I often tell new people to roller derby, your toe stop has nothing to do with stopping.
Oh, yeah.
It's a misnomer.
Right, well, big starting advantage here for the Wheat Whackers. They have all four blockers who will likely be doing offense against only two Renegade defenders.
That is Cairo out there. We'll see what Cairo can do. Nope, they got to let him go.
Yeah, that's Blitz having a really good game, so very hard to stop, when you have a full team out there. Cairo, though, able to bring him back. Cairo and Blueberry Slam Cakes working pretty well out there together with that, being down like how they are. But Glitz is able to put some points on the board to give that lead back to the Wheat Whackers.
And as soon as the Renegades get some help back, Cairo heads to the box and they lose more blockers. But they do have other blockers and they do have their jammer back.
Yeah, now there's Jawbreaker went to the box for the Wheat Whackers, so now there's two blockers for the blue team starting this jam. So this will give a opportunity for the Renegades.
And that was a lead change right there as the Wheat Whackers pull into the lead, 77 to 73. 13 seconds left in this half.
Time winding down here.
Glitter hitter going up against Tsunami.
All right, that was able to go off before the period clock is at 0, but the jam clock is running, and the Renegades have control of that clock.
We're in bonus time.
Tsunami had a huge run a little while back, so that could definitely play out for their advantage here. Was not able to complete that apex jump, though. Will have to get recycled back, but Glitter Hitter is being held back themselves with a huge hit by Cairo that sends them to the box. Tsunami, when there's momentum on their side, they are difficult to bring down. However, that is a jawbreaker there. Some good one-on-one blocking there to hold them back for a little bit. And there is a star pass. And so now that is number 204, Sparkhill of the Wheat Whackers with the star on their head. Hard hits going into the defenders, able to get through. And that is going to force Tsunami to call that off before the Wheat Whackers can close that anymore. So that jam ends with the Renegades retaking the lead. Only a 4-point lead, though, as it's 85 to 81 as we go into our intermission. Just a reminder, the inside restrooms are for skaters and officials only, but we do have restrooms outside for our audience members. And yes, we will be back in just over 14 minutes. All right, 2 minutes to go before we start our second half. The teams are going through their gear checks. You'll definitely want anyone who's still outside to get them waved back in here. Judging by the first half, this game will probably go down to the very last jam, so you don't want to miss any part of it. All right, all the officials are back out. All the teams are back out. We are just ready to go in just 1 minute. Keep in mind, our next game is slotted for 1 o'clock this afternoon. It'll be the Wasatch Junior Rollers going up against Fort Collins FOCO Junior Roller Derby team. All right, both teams going over those last few moments of strategy and motivation. Neither team's going to want to give up a inch of ground to the other, so this should be a very entertaining second half to this game between the Renegades and the Wheat Whackers. I've been enjoying it, just sitting up here calling. Both teams got their lineups out onto the track. That is the rolling whistle. That will start this second half going. Wheat Whackers will start this half with one of their players into the box, giving a little bit of an advantage to the Renegades. And here we are. Faz, quick to the outside, takes lead to start off this second half. Glitz trying to find their way through the Renegade blockers as the Wheat Whackers reassemble, but not fast enough for Faz to get on through for a quick 4 points. The Renegades took the lead early in the last half. Let's see if they mean to do that again here. So far on track, as that is 4 more. And now it is Fast coming around again with some nice hits to open up lanes and gets so as a 12-point jam so far. There is a star pass that is now number 88 Bubble Basher with the star on their helmet. Fast decides to call that one off after being taken down. They did score an additional point for a 13-0 run to begin this one. It's like the Renegades looking to capitalize on the momentum that they've got going so far. Tsunami Hazard is back out again, who's had some very strong, powerful jams closing out the last the first half of this game, going up against Sassy, who's also had very good runs of their own.
Yeah, I think these are the two premium jammers for both teams. It seems like Sassy and Tsunami have been going at each other all game long. And it's a battle, just a jousting match back and forth. We've had several different lead changes. It looks like Sassy is out first.
This might be another kind of back and forth with teams exchanging leads and points and so on. Nami finds their way out just as Sassy gets 4 points on the board.
It's probably one of those games that'll come down to the last lead jammer of the game.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Nice move. Skating on one skate backwards to get 4 points is Sassy. Not before Renegades able to get some 3 points. And we have a new jammer for the Renegades out there. That is Slave Voorhees, number 13 in white.
They've been doing a bunch of blocking now, but as typical in junior roller derby, your blockers become your jammers in the second half.
All right, in a lead position given to the Wheat Whackers, Glitz. Now, lead's always important in every jam, but it feels in this game it's just going to be critical each and every jam to control that clock and try to get those points.
Yeah, it's going to come down to strategy now as Glitz sees Voorhees coming around and calls it off before Voorhees can get there, but only holds him down to 1 point.
Sassy right back out on the track as well as Faz. Renegades opting to take that jammer line, hopefully to halt Sassy's momentum right from the start.
I imagine when a Wheat Whacker goes to work, they work all day long.
Okay.
And the whistle blows and they go.
Nice moves by Sassy on
That-
the outside.
That was pretty. 90% of their body was outside the lanes, but their 1 foot was inside, and that's what counted. Sassy getting around first, coming back in there and calling it off as they hit Cairo and spin around.
Yeah, so much like what we saw last time, very quick jams. Just scoring a few points and calling it off.
And another 3-1 jam.
Glitz and Tsunami back out there. I mean, it very much seems like they were just out there as quick as these jams are going here. Not much break for the jammers, but it doesn't look like it's slowing them down at all. Nice outside moves by Glitz. Gets them the lead. Tsunami brought back. That's number 88. That was Bubble Basher.
The problem with the short jammer bench is the jammers start wearing out towards the second half. We'll see how Tsunami and Glitz hold up.
So far, a lot of momentum and strength going on, and getting some instruction from their coaches. Is Glitz, who decides to call that one off. All right, we're back into a 4-point game. You know, it'll be hard to see if we're going to get any big runs that will really kind of blow this thing out. I don't really know. Looks like they're kind of be trading these little sort of 4 to 8 point jams.
This has a
amongst
look
each
of an
other.
adult bout. When the
Oh,
adults
yeah.
bout like this is how they do it. 4 and 8 point jams. A lot of strategy involved about when you call it off. Making sure you get points and they don't. Oh, and there you go. Stitches got out first, but She'll Be Sassy got in the lead. She'll Be Sassy has the advantage. We'll see what Stitches wants to do with this. Stitches comes through, pushes her own player out of the way, and moves through there.
Siren being used as a blocker by their jammer to much good advantage. I mean, yeah, it's not often when you're not the lead jammer, but you end up, scoring and forcing the other team to have to call that off.
That's it. That's putting pressure on the other team. 4 points separating these two teams. This is going to be a battle.
Yeah, Faz and Glitz, a battle that we've been watching between those two. Carrying on from the last half to this half.
And I'll tell you, at the end of every junior bout, they always pull out MVPs and MVJs. It would be hard to do that in this bout because there are so many of them. that are leaning. There's half a dozen on either team that could be most valuable player today.
Oh, yeah.
So here we go. Faz has got the lead, but Glitch is closing in. Glitch gets up to the scoring point, and Faz calls it off before Glitch can get there, stretching that lead out to 7.
All right, Sassy again. She'll be Sassy against Tsunami Hazard. Renegades up at the jam line. Tsunami even falling back. Maybe they're gaining momentum or looks like possibly playing some defense against the other jammer to begin. Looks like this looks some success as Sassy is being held back, but now Tsunami's got big troubles of their own trying to get by that weed whacker tripod that is not giving them any room to move, but she is able to find that inside and through.
I think Night Terror thought they got Tsunami out, but Tsunami was able to keep all their wheels in bounds.
Now some wheat whackers going to the penalty box there. Oh, looks like it's a power jam opportunity now for the Renegades. Oh, nice leaps.
That was a pretty roll there. They kept everything in bounds and held their skates up so they didn't land out of bounds.
Yeah, it was Sparkle there, looking to do some good blocking, but Tsunami just able to leap over, stay in bounds, and collect that 4 points. Calls that one off. Not before the jammer can get released, so they will have a power start advantage. So that was by far the biggest break of this half in favor of the Renegades. 14-0 run and also get to start off with a power start.
Renegades at full strength, Wheat Whackers with a blocker and a jammer in the box.
Right.
They quickly get help back from Sassy as Sassy is out of the box.
Good chance for Sassy to take lead, and does, I believe, but Slay is right behind. But it is, in fact, Sassy with the lead.
Sassy looks like we're going to keep jamming in. Voorhees gets through there and twists.
Yeah, nice. Absorbing that hit, staying in bounds, and getting all 4 points, keeping the Wheat Whackers to just 1 point. So again, even without that lead jammer position, able to come out on top.
One little slip, and all of a sudden it's a little bit of a lead, but it can go either way. No lead is safe in junior roller derby.
Yeah, so these last few jams, it looks like the Renegade defenders have opted to stay really close to that jam line. Looks like to just try to halt that momentum that the Weed Whacker jammers have had.
And now we got a power jam situation as Faz heads off to the sin bin. That gives the opening for Glitz, and Glitz takes advantage. Glitz is out there first.
You can look at the board and think, wow, 25 points, that's a lot of points, but that can vanish so quickly. And Glitz stays in and looks to do some damage on that board in favor for her team. Oh, however, that is a bubble bash. No, rather Sparkle, rather, in the pivot stripe for the Wheat Whackers going to the box.
And now the Renegades get their jammer back, and her jammer comes through there, slicing through there, is able to get through there, but can't get any points.
All right, well, we are down our first 11 minutes of this half. So, Renegades in a lead, but not a comfortable lead. Litter hitter out there. Tsunami Hazard. Definitely put up some high-scoring jams of their own. Able to duck by. A note is taken out. That outside avenue closed off by the Wheat Whackers. However, Glitter Hitter not able to get through. It is now Tristan's friend. It is Tsunami Hazard with that lead.
Yeah, it was Night Terror out there that closed off that opening.
A big wave able to hold back Glitter Hitter for a little while, but they were able to bust through now. No pass, no penalty call. Bringing that jammer back in. That was not a cut track.
It looked like they were getting called on a cut track, but then Gypsy held up very clearly. No pass, no penalty. Oop. We knew bodies were going to the box for that one.
Now Tsunami will be going to the box as well as Sparkle of the Wheat Whackers. So now this gives Glitter Hitter some good opportunities here. Hard to take off their feet. They've taken some hits, but yeah, didn't even go down to a knee. Now they are around for 4.
Yeah, I think Cairo thought they got Glitter Hitter out, but they was clear from this advantage, and Backslash was right on top of it that Glitter Hitter did not go out. They were able to hold their ground.
Oh, and that was Big Wave pushing them out that time. Now we have Tsunami back in, going right into the blue tripod, and is able to push themselves through. Finds the seam, exploits it, and is now through. Looks like we have a star pass, so now that is Sparkle with the Jammer Star in hand, but is having trouble getting by Big Wave, or rather Cairo.
Hard to tell them apart.
Yep. So that was a very intense 2 minutes that we saw there. It's like 11-8 in favor of the Renegades. 20-point game, or rather that score has changed against a 17-point game. Okay, it looks like the scoreboard, there's some issues going on. We'll get that fixed here and figure out where we're at.
There's a game going on and there's points, and we'll figure it out here in a few minutes. Now we have a timeout for the Wheat Whackers. Folks, once again, if you're here visiting, make sure you visit the other people's swag booths if they brought derby gear from other places. Nothing says I'm cool like wearing another derby team's gear on your off time. You see it many, many times. Shows you've been around a little bit. It also helps support our brothers and sisters. One time, one of the Denver coaches and I made an observation. In Derby, there is no buying of things. We just exchange money. I'll give you my $20 this week. Next time we play, you give me yours. Back and forth we go.
Yeah, very self-funded organizations we have here.
Yeah, we haven't got any big sponsors to pick us up yet. It'd be nice.
All right, that ends the team time out. It is Night Terror with the Jam Star starting off. Maybe that's the first time against number 19 of the Renegades. That is Stitches.
Yeah, Night Terror's been out there doing a bulk of blocking. I mean, they're leveling some of those big hits. And just like that, they try Eat the Baby, but Stitches is able to move forward rather than sideways.
Multiplayer called on Jawbreaker of the Wheat Whackers. That'll be down 1 blue blocker. Stitches facing some good one-on-one. That's Punky Bruiser with some good one-on-one blocking. Oh, but did get called on a penalty, so that shortens down the blocking staff of the Wheat Whackers considerably. That will give Stitches time to get through. However, Night Terror was able to pull off lead before Stitches could get through, and so that ends that with a 0-0 jam.
Yeah, Night Terror realizing they had lost the advantage as the other skater was ahead of them, just called it off and said, let's fight another day. Wheat Whackers are going to come out with 2 in the box. Renegades are whole.
Yeah, with Faz as their jammer, and Faz has definitely been able to exploit a lot of opportunities.
Sassy out there for the Wheat Whackers.
And is able to get by against the 2 blockers of the Wheat Whackers. That is a big lead big lead opportunity. Oh, hard hit by Jawbreaker, but able to stay in is Faz.
That was impressive. They were airborne and dropped their toe stops right on the line and didn't go any further.
Now Faz doing some real damage to the board now. So extending that lead. And we are now past the halfway point of the second half here. So we're at a final coming down to 14 minutes of the game. So Renegades have definitely been taking advantage of these last few jams, really extending that lead. So let's see if the Wheat Whackers can pull something together here like they did in the last half and close that up or even take the game.
Still lots of derby action left in this. It all is going to depend on the energy level of the kids, but again, they're kids. Their energy level is pretty high. We see Tsunami Hazard and Glitter Hitter out there high-fiving each other. In Junior Derby, bodies hit the floor and they pop right back up. It's pretty amazing to watch.
Tsunami is taken outside. Is going to be sent to the box. I not just stepped out, but in fact there's a penalty called. So this is a huge power jam opportunity for the Wheat Whackers.
30 points separating their two teams. That's what Glitter Hitter needed. They needed a power jam and the opportunity, so they got it.
Yeah, nice offense right off there. Able to slide on through. Definitely want to put up as many points as you can before, especially a jammer like Tsunami comes back out.
Tsunami will be rested, so they'll come out of there exploded, shot out of a cannon.
All right, and Tsunami is back out. Slams hard into the tripod and is pushing the jam. Oh.
I thought the Wheat Whackers weren't paying attention, and at the last second they turned over and saw that it was inbound was a Tsunami Hazard.
Yeah. Yeah, able to stop them, but definitely was shoving them towards further and further away from the pack before Glitter called that one off. And Slave Voorhees back out for the Renegades. Haven't seen them as a jammer off in this game, but they've done some good work when they do put that star on. She'll be Sassy, who is just pushing and shoving their way through, trying to find room, and does. There is a star passes. Night Terror takes the star.
Oh, now we have another blue player heading off for a destruction. Slave Voorhees gets the order from the coach, says call it off, let's preserve this.
Yeah, it'll be She'll Be Sassy will be starting in the box as a blocker. And Night Terror decides to keep that star out for this next jam.
Hopefully they took the pivot stripe off.
Yep. All right, Faz back out. Looking for room, finds it. Yeah, Faz on a bit of a roll this second half. I think they may have gotten lead each time they've gotten out. I can't recall when they haven't. Oh, nice apex jump.
Faz has certainly changed the battery when Gypsy calls him for the.
I didn't see what the call was. Yeah, not sure. I'd have to get a clarification on that. But
I don't know what that is, but that was the call.
So there is no lead jam. That means this is going to go the full 2 minutes. We have 1:20 left in this jam alone. So Night Terror's going to have to keep that momentum going and that cardio, and they are capable of doing it, just pushing and shoving their way through.
Nice job with Glitz holding up Cairo. They went right in there and leaned in hard, pushing Cairo out of the way. Not an easy job to do.
Now Faz is out. Wheat Whackers ready for them this time. But they are hard to put down, and they find a way through. So now,
All right, they get up on their own power and skate off. They wanted to skate right back to the bench. They want to compete, but unfortunately, they got to sit for a couple of jams, and the medics are over there. They're our favorite people until they tell us we can't play for a minute. Then they're not our favorite people, but they only care about the health of you, so they don't care about the score one way or the other. They just want to make sure everybody stays healthy.
It is enjoyable watching, a team that I've never seen before, just the Wheat Whackers, and just getting to recognize some of these names that keep coming up a lot of times as we're calling here. Night Terror's definitely been one that we've mentioned quite a few times. Blocking, jamming, doing offense, doing it all.
I do find at the end of a weekend, you will know all the players on the team, and then you'll see them again. Next time they come around or that, you just get used to the names. Then they grow up, and you're like, "Oh, I'm used to the name, but not the size of the person." So the referees all together over there discussing what's going on, probably discussing safety, things like that. Was it a big hit? Was it not a big hit? I don't know what they're discussing. They might be discussing where they want to go for beverages after and rehydration. Who knows?
Still got a lot of day left here, so I don't know if you want to be making plans that early. Could just decide that all you want to do is go back and sleep and get ready for tomorrow.
I sit here in a position and all I do is talk, and I am exhausted at the end of the day. So I can't even imagine what it's like to be out there pushing. If I had to push my big fat body around this track, it would be bad.
Some 10 minutes left in this half. 22-point game, but as you can see, that score can just get chipped away, and then suddenly one big jam later, the lead changes. So, no means even close to being over at this point or decided at all.
Now, and folks, if you'll notice, we have several photographers here this weekend. They're walking around taking pictures. It'll take about a week for us to get the pictures up onto Facebook, but once we get all the pictures collected, we will post them up on our Wasatch Junior Facebook page. We encourage you to take them down, use them, give a shout out to Mama Bear and Brian Puddinpender, and I think I saw Booty Queen out there also. So those are our photographers here today. Take the photos down, use them, post them, whatever you choose to do with them. So it looks like we're still sorting some things out here. I thought we were ready to go. It looked like everything was set, but then Princess, being the diva he is, called them all back out there and said, pay attention to me a little more.
All right. We have a cheering section here for the Renegades. Really pumping each other up here right before this, before we get going here.
Now, I will say the last time we went up to Boise, they had a farmer's market, and it was clearly not Utah because they had free samples of alcohol.
Oh, yeah.
That is clearly, and in case you're unfamiliar with the Utah liquor laws, you're illegally drunk just because you drove past a liquor store on the way here today. So be very careful with anything you do. Trust me, I work at the jail every single day. A whole list of people coming out saying, I wish I would have taken an Uber. So if you decide to imbibe or partake of any kind of alcoholic beverage, make sure you take an Uber or a designated driver home.
And stores will be closed tomorrow for sale. So, not saying to stock up to get super wasted and loaded, but you might want to buy something tonight if you plan on having something tomorrow.
So it looks like Princess Albert's over there talking with the coach of the Renegades, probably about the hitting and things like that. Maybe they saw something. I don't know what they're talking about. But Princess is always really good to go over there and make sure that they explain in great detail what they saw, what needs to be cleaned up, things like that. So they will talk to the referees or talk to the coaches to make sure they understand what they're seeing. I've always appreciated that about Princess. He's always skated up to my skater and been willing to explain exactly why you got the penalty, which is what I appreciate about junior roller derby.
Even in adult leagues, so we have our scrimmages and we have our games. So, if you're a new skater or even been around for a while and you have a question on a call, it's always good to get that clarification.
Now, I give them all the credit in the world because I could never be a referee because I am not impartial. So, so because I'm not impartial, I've just said I will call the plays. Looks like we're back out to the middle. We'll get it all sorted out here. We're 8 minutes in.
Yeah. I mean, with this time to rest.
And the kids still have plenty of energy.
Yeah. It's, gives them plenty of time to regroup and make this last 10 minutes maybe able to put even a little more effort than they were into it before the bit of a rest here. So,
all right, there we go. The rolling whistle, everything's sorted out. Looks like we're going to come out with Tsunami Hazard going head to head with Glitz.
Glitz finds a big hole on the outside to take that lead. But Tsunami quick on their feet, right on through. Glitz getting some instruction from their coaches, see what they decide to do. Get a few points and call that off. And we're able to get all 4 points, able to get their hips past all the defenders. So great job by Glitz to get those points and call that off quick.
Yeah, the Outlaws had opened up a little bit of a lead, so the Wheat Whackers are going to have to do exactly that. They're going to have to hit it and quit it type of thing, get your points and call it a day. Don't let the other team get any points.
All right, Stitches in white going up against Sassy in blue. Another pair of jammers that we've seen face off quite a bit this game. As Big Wave able to take out Sassy, while Stitches having their hands full up at the pivot line against a very tough blue wall.
And I don't know if you saw that, but Big Wave just threw his blocker out there to block Sassy, but Sassy still gets through there.
Yeah. All right, Sassy on their first score, and a hard hit up against Big Wave. And Legal brought them down to a knee. Cairo goes back to the penalty box. Sassy with 4 points now, looking to get a few more perhaps before Stitches can come around and do some work on the board. Swings their hips, gets 4 more points around. That is 8 points up, and now we are right into a 10-point game just like that with 8 minutes to go.
10-point game. Anybody's game right now. Things getting a little tense.
All right, Faz and Glitz once again. Been battling out for lead each and every time. I think the Faz has come out on top of that battle a little bit more often, but Glitz does not give up a whole lot of room or space to the other players. So.
Looks like Cairo might have fouled out there.
Yeah.
I'll still contend that Cairo's one of the nicest guys in roller derby. He certainly doesn't mean to get any of those fouls, but he does.
All right. 4-3 blocker advantage. Oh, Glitz finding the inside, taking it, and taking lead. And with the score as close as it is, that's going to... And you have both teams putting in as much energy as they have into a game. You know, things like that happen, but fortunately able to get up and get looked at. They're quickly, game getting back on underway here in just a little bit. Refs talking some things over.
We've had 2 foul outs in this game. So I think they're just wanting to make sure that everybody's still playing nice, clean derby.
Yep. Little over eagle, mistaking the rolling whistle for the start whistle.
They're all hinged and on a razor's edge, ready to roll.
She'll be Sassy and Tsunami Hazard. And Sassy taking that lead spot. So again, with just down 10 points, this is big for the Wheat Whackers. Sassy coming in, hard hit. Not able to get through that wall. Able to sneak around and call that off. May have gotten 3 points. Yeah, it's just 3 points on that, but that closes it down to 7. Just 7 minutes left.
They saw Tsunami coming, and they wanted to call it off before they get any points. Again, you get points. You don't want the other team getting points at this point. A lot of points.
All right, Blitz going up against Stitches this time. The penalty box is clear, so team's got a full amount, and the Wheat Whackers are definitely on a roll with getting that lead position. That could be a huge factor in how this game shakes out here.
Excellent offense as the Wheat Whackers team pushes the blockers out of the way of their jammer. Their jammer had full view of what was going on.
And that should bring it to a 3-point game. There it is. Yep. And yeah, that's the thing with roller derby. There can be a big lead, but if you just keep it down 4-0, 4-0, 4-0, that score just, that lead goes away, and that can be enough for a lead change and to take the game.
Yep, so here we go. She'll be Sassy out against Tsunami Hazard.
Yeah, Big Wave able to push him off on the inside. Tsunami coming in with a lot of speed, but no, that is number 88, Bubble Basher, able to halt that momentum. Big Wave with a good illegal hit. to bring down Sassy. Sassy stays on there. Oh, looks like they're enough of it to get pushed out. Some penalties being called. Oh, Tsunami is going to the box. That opens it up for a power jam. Lead has not been called yet.
Sassy needs some help getting past Big Wave and now does. Sassy is out.
No pass, no penalty on that. Able to stay up on one skate to stay in bounds. Now here comes Shilby Sassy. Nice offense. Using Night Terror as a momentum to do a whip. But clearly the amount of the physical toll of this game is being shown. Big Wave going to the box now for a directional call. As Tsunami comes out, and the Wheat Whackers are not able to form up in time, so Tsunami is right back out. There is no lead on this.
And we had a star pass there. Night Terror has the star. Tsunami's out of there. And it looks like they're only going to give 2 points to Night Terror. No, 3 points. But they're giving 4 to Tsunami. Now Tsunami skates off again.
Again, yeah. I mean, Shilby Sassy definitely doing a good job out there, but I think just finally ran out of some energy, which can definitely happen, especially in a game that's been played like this.
Even Formula One cars run out of gas sometimes.
Oh, yeah. And let's see, we have, right now it shows tied game. 164, and looks like there is a team timeout beat right now by the Renegades.
I saw him put up the it was a team timeout. I thought he put up the O for the official review. Well, it's literally anybody's game. I mean, we're 164 or 164. We called it at the start of the half and said that it would come down to the last lead jammer, whoever it is, and I think that's where we're at. We probably got 2, maybe 3 more jams left. It's going to come out to strategy of the coaches, who they put out there, and can the jammer get free?
Right, yeah.
Simple.
Yeah, I mean, whoever gets lead, they don't have too much of an opportunity before that second jammer's also through the pack and is threatening to score. So, you know, you just have to get those 2, 3, 4 points and call it off.
Now, the next game will be at 1 o'clock. If all things stay on time, it looks like that's a pretty good chance. It'll be your very own Wasatch Assault versus the FOCO Junior Agos? I'm going to have to figure out how to say that. Agos?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Agojis?
To make sure on that one.
We'll get it right. I know we've traveled around a lot, and the Wasatch is a tongue twister for a lot of players.
Yeah, so this will be a power start. Blitz with the star for the blue, as Tsunami will be starting this one in the penalty box. And again, as we've been saying, how important lead is, especially this late in the game. This is a big, big opportunity for the Wheat Whackers.
I think I see Night Terror sitting in the medics box, so that's a big loss for the Wheat Whackers. And there we go. They're out first. Blitz is out there with 8 seconds it took them to get out of the jam. So they've got a little time to work. They tell their team to get it forward and break stuff.
All right, the scoreboard does have the Outlaws with a 4-point lead.
Oh.
So a successful pass will tie it up here. But Tsunami is now back out and right on through. I don't think the Wheat Whackers saw them coming.
No, but Glitz has got the advantage. We'll see what they want to do. And, yep, there it is. Just as Tsunami was approaching the pack, they call it off. Tsunami was digging hard, but couldn't get there in time. Though they gave her credit for 1-0. 8-1.
Yeah, it is a lead change as we're down to the last 2:45 left on the clock.
3 points separate these two teams. Both have players in the box.
Right, Faz and Glitz, like we've been watching so many times this game. And Faz with that lead, but Glitz right behind, so let's see what Faz can do.
Faz has got to get in there, jump, and quit.
Oh,
Nope.
Nice. Yeah, I believe
that was
Glitz
close.
yeah, Glitz did get one on that.
That
So
was
that's-
close. That could have been worse.
Yeah.
That ties the score up, though. So 173. 2 minutes left in this game.
Yeah, one or two jams. Probably going to be real quick. I don't see either of these teams letting any of the jammers run for too long unopposed. So.
No, the Renegades sent out a new jammer. That's 68 Foxtail going head-to-head with Sassy. Sassy's been out there a bunch. Foxtail goes out there, tries to get around now. No, Foxtail gets sent out. Foxtail's in, out.
Yeah, that is Sassy with lead, but again, Foxtail right behind, so. And with a lot of speed, Foxtail coming in a lot of speed, closing up that gap. Hard hit. Calls that off. We have, looks like 3 points for the Renegades on that one, so very good for Foxtail.
1 point separating these two teams. That was a 3-2 run.
Yeah, Foxtail coming from behind, wasn't in the lead position, but able to close that that gap, that lead that Sassy had, and was able to, score 3 points and come up ahead for their team on that.
All right, Renegades in the better position right now as they got a full complement of players out there. The Wheat Whackers are going to start off with 2 in the box, 2 blockers in the box.
All right, Glitz versus Faz for what is possibly the last jam. I think that's as hard as those two been battling. I mean, every jammer's been battling out. These two have really been going at it this entire game that I've been noticing. So I think this is a really good way to end this one, possibly. However, Wheat Whacker's going to have to do some really good defense here. Only 2 of them out there. And meanwhile, Glitz is going to have to go against all 4 of the Renegades.
Yep, and the Wheat Whackers are behind by 1 point, and they got to get lead jammer. That's simple as that.
All right, refs talking things over, making sure everything's squared away before we start this. They said last jam of the game.
It should be the last jam,
Yep.
and every point is so important right now, and getting every call so right.
Yep. Yeah, no, you can always have to end up having to call it quick, and the other team can still each team has a team timeout left, so they can stop that clock.
The Wheat Whackers choose to back up onto the jam line. Now they're backing off it a little bit.
Yeah. I almost as I just kind of want to like stop and watch this last jam for a moment and not have to call it because I'm just about as tense as everyone else here wanting to see how this goes.
And here we go.
Spins it.
That's all Faz needed to do. Now Faz needs to cook off 50 seconds.
All right, with they have that scoreboard lead and now lead the clock. Faz is through. Blitz opting to do some defense to slow them down. It's a good strategy. Let's see what happens here.
Trying to get some of her blockers back.
All right, now Faz going for another scoring run. Gets by Glitter Hitter and Jawbreaker. Blitz able to go through. That is time. And Renegades looks like just managed to pull that one as a win.
No, the Wheat Whackers
Oh.
at the last second call a timeout,
Okay.
preserving for one more jam. We're going into bonus derby here, folks.
Oh, this is perfect.
This is what you wanted. Exactly this right here. 5 points separating the two teams.
All right. Tsunami Hazard for the Renegades with the star being brought out for this last one. They will be against 757. She'll be Sassy. So again, like another duel that we've been having between jammers. However, now instead of just 1 point, the Wheat Whackers are down by 5 points. So they need a scoring run and then some, and keeping the Renegades to 0 in order to pull this one ahead. So
They are back to full strength, though.
oh yeah.
The box is clear.
All right. Come on, audience. Make a whole lot of noise for this one. This is as good as it gets when it comes
These
to
kids
roller
are digging
derby.
deep, so start getting louder. And here we go.
Here we are.
Tsunami versus Sassy.
Sassy on their feet, stays on their feet while Tsunami is getting pushed back.
Sassy has to get through first.
Lead has not been called, though. The Renegades quick to reform. Power jam. Oh, no, there is a power jam, and that is the Renegades. This could decide it right here.
Yep, it's up to Tsunami, but if Tsunami calls it, the game is over.
That
And there
is
we
it.
go.
Wow. That was incredible. Still,
That literally, we sit here playing Derby for the last couple hours, and it came down to one jam.
yeah.
One
Oh,
jam
man.
for it all.
I mean, there's still a whole lot of Derby to go this weekend, but that was
All
one
right,
heck of a game
let's wait
right
for the
there.
rolling whistle. All right, that's a rolling whistle. You can come on out to the gray track as we send these two powerhouse teams around for you.
All right, the final score of 184 to 179. Renegade Outlaws take it. They are Crazy A.
Let's see if they go. All right, and your team tonight, the Wheat Whackers out of Pullman, Washington. Glitter Hitter, Poison Ivy, Phantom, Ultraviolet, Glitz, Night Terror, Sparkhill, Sugar Rush, Jawbreaker, Punky Bruiser, She'll Be Sassy, Puppet Master, Bubble Basher, being led by Active, Sir Vixen, Glitter Papa, and Dad Joke.
And for the Renegades, Crazy A, Blueberry Slam Cakes, Slave Voorhees, Guinea Pig, Stitches, Cairo, Quad Freya, Acid Smash Up, Big Wave, Yoda, Black Widow, Foxtail, Siren, Tsunami Hazard, and Faz. Their coaches being Danger Zone, Rocket, Java, and Fury.
And a shout